Did you guys hear the news? They're thinking about making hybrid mana cards available to play in monocolored commander decks. Honestly, this is not a rules change that I care about all that much. A rules change that I'd like to see happen is making wish cards playable in Commander. What is a wish card, you ask? Well, let's look at its namesake, the card Wish. It's a sorcery. It says you may play a card you own from outside the game this turn. Now, cards like this are known for not working in Commander, because whenever a card references outside the game, typically that's referring to a player's sideboard, which Commander doesn't have. So you could put Wish in your Commander deck, but it literally would do nothing. But I think they should make these cards work in Commander. In fact, I argue they already should. Let me make my case. Before 2010, the term exile on cards didn't exist. It actually said remove from the game. Like, let's look at Path to Exile. Remove target creature from the game, which later in 2010 got errated to exile target creature. In addition to this errata and word change, they created the exile zone. You might be wondering, why am I talking about this? Why is this relevant? Well, if we were to revert back to this type of wording, I think it would already make sense. If you remove something from the game, that means it's not in the game. And if it's not in the game, that means it's outside the game. Let me show you another card. Pull from Eternity. This is a 1 mana instant. It says put target face-up card that's removed from the game into its owner's graveyard. This card was errated to say put target face-up exiled card into its owner's graveyard. So something that's been removed from the game already in our rules is considered in exile. So like the new spoiled card Turtles Forever, where you can search your library and or outside the game, this should be able to work so you can search your library or from cards that you own in exile. I could understand Wizards not wanting to make a change like this because it could affect the rules and cards they've printed since 2010, since making the exile zone. There are also cards that would be made kind of redundant if they made this sort of change, like Karn the Great Creator. His -2 ability says you may reveal an artifact card you own from outside the game or choose a face-up artifact card you own in exile. If we made this sort of change that outside the game means cards in exile, his line would literally say a card from exile or a card from exile. But I could also argue that all of these cards should already be formatted this way. So you could errata all the cards that say outside the game refer to a card in exile. But I don't really want to errata a bunch of cards. It gets away from the philosophy of reading the card explains the card. So I think I've come up with a good solution for this. It's already pretty intuitive that exiling something means removing it from the game. So why not add to the rules specific zones that you can consider being outside the game? For instance, the exile zone. All you'd have to do is add that the exile zone is considered outside the game into the comprehensive rules. There are other zones that you can consider as well, like the companion zone or even the commander zone. Can you imagine how nice it would be to cheat on your commander attacks by casting a wish spell and getting your commander back to your hand? Or if somebody Path to Exiles one of your creatures and you think, I'm never going to be able to see that again. Hey, I can cast a wish spell and get it back. These are not things that would completely break the game, and they could be helpful to many strategies. I would love this sort of change. One of my favorite decks to play is Jaleva, Navalia's Scourge. When it enters, I exile top cards of their library, including my own. It would be cool to include a couple of wish cards to bring back cards that I've exiled that I want. And this kind of change could be made today, and it wouldn't confuse anyone. When you read these cards, it kind of already feels like that's what it says. It's just not in the comprehensive rules. Let's look at one more card. Ring of Ma-Ruff. It's an artifact for 5 mana, and it has an ability, pay 5 and tap it. Remove Ring of Ma-Ruff from the game. The next time you would draw a card this turn, instead choose a card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand. This card was errated to say, pay 5 and tap, exile this artifact, removing it from the game. The next time you would draw a card this turn, instead put a card you own from outside the game into your hand. This card got more confusing. Imagine if it just said, exile this artifact. The next time you would draw a card this turn, instead put a card you own from exile into your hand. Removing something from the game and outside the game is super easy to comprehend, even for a new Magic player. This is the Commander rules update that I would be looking forward to, not this hybrid mana nonsense. If you guys agree or disagree, let me know in the comments below. See you next time, Magic players.